How about that DK Direct? All today on TNT Big Show. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Michelle Nantucket.
Hey, and this is Sean. Come on, Michelle, let's don't monkey around.
Yeah, we just got done watching the Donkey Kong Bananza Direct. And I have to say, I don't think I've been this impressed with a Direct in a long time. Probably not since Mario
Wonder, yeah.
Which was an incredible Direct. I was just blown away when I saw it. It was so exciting. And boy, is Nintendo of Korea going to be in trouble, because that photo that they showed of Pauline being in the game turned out to be true.
True, yeah.
So, yeah, somebody over there is in some big trouble. The game looked amazing.
Yes, it did.
But what has me even more excited than that is just, well, okay, the game looking amazing, but maybe I phrased that wrong. What really has me excited besides that there's going to be some RPG-like elements. It's not an RPG, folks, but there's skill trees and leveling up. You can get more heart. You can do more with your abilities and items and weapons that you can get. It's amazing. And some people are wondering, like, hey, is this Mario Odyssey team working on it? From what I've heard, but again, let's just not go by rumors. Facts are what matter. We won't know until the game's released next month when the credits roll. But there has been some talk that this was made by a new group that Nintendo put in there, but there were a handful, but there were a handful of Mario Odyssey developers who did help with the game.
Well, and it's a confirmed fact that they used the Mario Wonder animation engine.
Yeah, they did use a lot of the Mario Wonder animation in here, and you can tell by the ridiculous amount of facial expressions and feelings and emotions that are peppered throughout the game with the characters. It seems like a Pixar movie.
It really did.
With, Donkey and Paulina and all of them, Void, all of them. Their facial expressions are not stiff or limited, anything like that. They look absolutely amazing.
It looked like a spin-off of the Mario Brothers movie.
Exactly. What I'm going to love is you can turn into, of course, a bigger Donkey Kong, but also a zebra who can skid across water, and an ostrich who can fly.
And drop eggs.
Yeah, drop eggs. That is awesome. You're going to be able to combine those abilities. You're going to be able to use the upgrades and stuff, which I'm really excited about. So for people who thought the gameplay was going to be a little limited...
No, watch the Direct. Watch the 15-minute Direct. Yeah. And I don't know why Nintendo or anybody else has mentioned this, but some eagle-eye watchers have spotted Diddy and Dixie. You don't get to play as them, but they're helping you, and you get to ride Rambi.
Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't mention that.
The old Ramster, him and...
Espresso and On Guard.
Right. Rambi, Espresso, and On Guard are in the game, so I can't wait. I want to wait. Only Rambi we've seen. On Guard have we seen? No, Espresso.
If that is Espresso.
Yeah, if that is Espresso. Don't take our word on it. But Rambi is for sure, and you get to ride Rambi. Cranky Kong's in here, and Diddy and Dixie make an appearance. I hope we get to see more. You're going to be able to play 2 players, co-op, and get this, folks. If somebody has a Switch 2 but doesn't have the game, they can still play 2-player...
Game share.
Right, with you. And if somebody has a Switch 1, they can do that.
I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's just amazing.
Of all the negative things that the media wants to focus on with the Switch 2, why isn't nobody talking about that more? That's a very innovative, fun idea. I like it a lot.
I do too.
I can just imagine how many people are like, well, I don't have a Switch 2 yet. And somebody says, don't worry, you can play the game too. Number one, that'll encourage them to want to get a Switch 2.
Yeah.
But secondly, if they can't get one right now, they can still play.
Exactly. Again, Nintendo they don't get the credit for the innovations that they do.
Right. You're exactly right.
Don't.
You're 1,000% right. They don't get enough credit.
One thing I want to talk about is I love extra content that, like was in Mario Party Jamboree and stuff. Well, in Donkey, among all the content in that, to do, instead of Mario paint, it's Donkey Kong sculpture and paint.
Yeah.
You can do anything, just to take a brief breather, have a little something. I love that.
Yeah.
That is so unique. Nintendo keeps adding stuff to make their games really stand out and fun.
Yeah, that's something Nintendo doesn't get enough credit for. Right now, it just seems like it's popular to take a dump on Nintendo ever since that stupid price reveal, and Mario Kart being $80. Right now, Nintendo can do no right. All they can do is wrong, and that's just not true.
I know.
You can criticize their pricing of Mario Kart. You can. I'm not saying you can't. But don't overlook the good things as well, like a lot of people have made it clear they don't mind paying $80 for Mario Kart.
Look how it's selling.
Yeah.
And Sony and Microsoft were jumping on board.
Yeah, they are.
$80 train,
Yeah.
So shut up.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, though, if people want to criticize all games being,
But they're not. It's just Mario Kart. That's the only game they're criticizing.
Yeah, well, I will say there is a small section, though, that are criticizing all games for being 80.
I know, but like I said, the majority, it's just Mario Kart and nothing else.
I know, but if you really are concerned about the $80, that doesn't bother me. But don't overlook the good things that Nintendo is doing as well. This is a good thing. That if you have a Switch 1, you're not going to miss out playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. And if you just have a Switch 2 but not Donkey Kong Bonanza yet, you can still play it.
And this, unfortunately, like the Super Scope, Rob the Robot and them, I think this is just going to be a Nintendo thing. The game share.
I hope not.
I hope not either, but when you think of games like Cyberpunk and all them, they said they couldn't get them to run on the Switch, so how could you game share that?
That's true. And also, the Switch and Switch 2 can be a portable or a home console, whereas the PS5 and Xbox Series are strictly a home console.
Right, it's just that I think this is just going to be a Nintendo thing. Not that that's bad.
Yeah.
But games like Donkey Kong, Mario Party, Jamboree TV, Kirby, Air Riders, it'll probably use it.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It's just kind of hard for me to decide. I was going to say Street Fighter 6.
Right.
But I don't know. It's going to be up to each company, and that's just one of the things I think they're just going to shy away from. I could be wrong, but...
Here's hoping we're wrong. I want to see more people take advantage of stuff like this and on other systems so that people can have that same kind of enjoyment that we're having, Nintendo fans are eating good right now. We have lots of good games.
And can you take a PlayStation 5 game and play it on a PlayStation 4? No.
Right.
Take an Xbox Series X
and play it on an Xbox One.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You cannot do that.
No, so...
With a Switch 2, you can.
And that just goes to show the innovation. And Donkey Kong Bonanza has a lot of innovation. I'll tell you another thing I love is that if you get wet kind of ground or something like that, you can throw the pieces together and build things like a bridge or a ladder, go up or something. And I'm like, oh my God, can you imagine what people are going to do with this mechanic?
I know.
That is amazing.
I know. You mean like mud and sand? Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
I cannot wait to get my hands a hold of this game whenever we can be lucky enough to get a Switch 2. That's going to be one of the first games I get. Because I love Mario Kart, but I love me a good single-player platformer. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, if everybody's like, man, we want a 3D Mario, well, here you go. This is basically, I even think it looks better than Mario Odyssey.
I do.
And that's saying a hell of a lot, because Mario Odyssey is in my top 10 best Switch games. Heck, maybe top 10 games, period, of all time. Right. And Bonanza could end up being better than that game.
And I'm just going to call it. Of course, the way the media and video game industry hate Nintendo, so I don't think it'll win. Nominee, I think definitely Donkey Kong Bonanza will be nominated for Game of the Year in a lot of categories.
Yeah, and I think it could get a 90 on the critic sites and stuff because there's really nothing majorly wrong with the game.
Oh, Michelle, leave it to Eurogamer and other critics. Leave it to GameSpot. Leave it. The media will find something.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it. I'll just say this. It would deserve a 90.
Yes.
Because it just looks that good. It looks amazing. I cannot wait. I love Pauline's story that she just wants one wish so she can get back up to the surface.
Same.
Yeah, some people are theorizing that this is the Pauline in Mario Odyssey at New Donk City is named after the Donkey Kong who rescued her in this game. So this could be, we'll wait and see, but this could be a prequel to Mario Odyssey, and that would just be amazing.
Well, also something that's just, I'm wrong, anyone wants to correct me, they can, because I'm not the ones I know of.
Yeah.
But you had it in Zelda games.
Yep.
Xenoblade.
Fire Emblem, yeah.
And the big adventure type like games and stuff. But in platformers, what do you usually get? Woohoo, it's a me, a Mario, that's it.
Yeah.
Or Kirby, aye, or something. Pauline has full vocal speech. She actually says lines of dialogue, and that's pretty unique for a platformer.
It is, and a lot of people talked about how great Astro Bot was last year. Well, I think this game could be even better, and
it's going to be a lot better.
Yeah, what a time though for 3D platformers and platformers in general. We had in 2022, we had Kirby in the Forgotten Land. 2023, we had Mario Wonder. 2024, there was Astro Bot. 2025, Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Well, and another thing that I am really excited about, sorry I'm old school, it's going to have 2D levels.
Yes.
And I think that is so awesome. I love 2D level.
Including a minecart level, looks positively. Sean and I sound like little kids. It's because basically we're that excited about a 3D Donkey Kong game done right.
And finally, after Mario Wonder, after Kirby in the Forgotten Land, after Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and now Donkey Kong Bonanza, it frightens me what the new 3D Mario is going to be.
Yeah.
Nintendo is really changing it. There are the people who say, I don't like the same old. Nintendo is changing their games.
Yeah.
They're changing them.
Like I said, folks, when Shantaro Furukawa in 21 did an interview, and he said, in my opinion, we have the best video game franchises in the world. He said it's about time we started treating them like that.
Yeah.
And he said we're going to get a lot more ambitious. Let's look at the results. Kirby in the Forgotten Land, nearing 10 million in sales, the first 3D Kirby game. Mario Wonder revolutionized 2D platformers and the Mario platformer. Then we have Echoes of Wisdom, which changed up the 2D top-down Zelda. And now we're getting Donkey Kong Bonanza, which could change the whole platforming genre on its head. Having more skill trees, combining abilities and on the fly and stuff. That is just stuff that has just never been done before. It just, my God, this Direct was perfect. It was 17 minutes long, but it seemed like 4 minutes. It was just zip, zang, zoom. So much information. Of course, what else? You get lots of collectibles, like in RPGs. Yeah.
Fossils, bananas, coins,
music,
tons.
Yeah. And if it seems like I'm fangirling over this game, I am. This could be the game that finally dethrones Tropical Freeze as the best Donkey Kong game of all time.
And finally, we don't get many of them. A game that takes full advantage of the amiibo.
Yeah.
They're going to have amiibos of the game, of course.
Yep.
But if you got any other amiibos, they're like, it's just a suit. No, it actually helps your abilities. The different amiibos do.
Yep.
That's a first.
Yep. And if you get the new Donkey Kong Pauline amiibo, you get to have Pauline's little diva dress, which I'm going to get the amiibo just to get that. Her style, sue me, but I love the fact that Pauline is going to be able to sing, the sonar ability, which you can upgrade and it goes further.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting there like, man alive, this game is just phenomenal.
I know.
It is absolutely looks like a game of the year. That and Metroid Prime 4, here should be, of all the games we know coming out this year, the 4 games that I would nominate for Game of the Year right now. Expedition 33, Split Fiction, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart Wonder, or Mario Kart World.
Nintendo hasn't revealed their big Christmas surprise yet.
I was just talking about right now. If I could only pick 4 games, 2 big great AA games like Split Fiction and Expedition, but also Donkey Kong Bonanza and Prime 4 Beyond. Don't tell me that video games are in a slump. They're not. You just gotta look outside of your limited bubble,
And sorry, and yes, I'm gonna do it. Sorry, ponies. If you think Mario Kart World is gonna drop out of the #1 spot, and it will, it may shock me and surprise if the 2 Zelda upgrades won't take over. But when it does, don't worry, Donkey's right behind me.
Yeah, but what a way to come back. What a way to come back. This Direct is a 10. Grand Slam 10 out of 10. Love it. We're going to do a lot of videos on Donkey Kong Bonanza because I want to get people excited about this game. Because if you're on the fence about it, after seeing this Direct, don't be. It is going to be a doozy of a game. Like I said, what a time to be alive for platforming fans.
Real quick, the thing I really love what Nintendo is doing with a lot of their games now, the Switch 2 is going to be a new system for a lot of people.
Right.
Including the younger people. They're making easy modes.
Yeah.
So that kids can play it. And I really applaud Nintendo for that. Because trust me, when I was playing Mario Wonder, I haven't beat the whole... There's levels that I can beat 1, 2, 3, and even 3 stars, and maybe 1 or 2 4 stars. But when you get to the 5 stars, I can't play them. And I don't think that's fair.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't think that's fair. You just shouldn't think about the hardcore gamers. You should think about the newbies as well.
That's a good idea, you know, but Donkey Kong is giving people an assist mode now.
That's what I'm saying.
And I think that is brilliant.
Yeah, they need to do... I hope Nintendo and other third-party games should do this. I mean, you know, not on something like... Well, I don't know. For adults who are casual gamers who may want an easier mode for Grand Theft Auto or Borderlands 4 Metroid Prime 4 or Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Give all players an option.
You know, that's not a bad idea. That's a video for another day, you know. That really is, and that sounds like a good idea. But yes, Donkey Kong Bonanza just looks like going to be one of the best games of the year. And July 17th cannot get here fast enough. This is me, Michelle Nantucket.
And this is me, Sean.
Have a good day. Thank you for staying to the end of the video and watching it. If you like all of our videos, note to join our other social medias like TikTok, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, Thread, X, and our WordPress blog. You can also support us by joining Patreon for as little as $1 a month, where you will get exclusive content, uncut videos, behind the scenes, watch that trailer, Jack's Joke of the Week, and my sports input. If you join the $25 tier, I will send you an autographed copy of The Buzzies for free. If you love horror movies and independent content, we're a great place to come and visit because we love supporting other independent creators and stuff. When you support us, you're supporting people who do all of this by ourselves. Me, Michelle, I'm the editor, I'm the director of the videos, I'm the producer, Sean's the executive producer and content creator. So thank you everybody, and please look into supporting our Patreon, as it really does help out. Just $1 a month. Thank you and have a wonderful day.